I think that's a thing. Like every couple of years, some moron tries to say like, "Oh, no one's claimed the moon, so I claim the moon," and they're like, "It's the moon, you dumbass." Fine, if you want it, go get it.
Yeah, your better bet is like searching for stars that haven't been named yet.
I have trouble with that.
Well, I think you can. There's a website that claims to name stars for you for a certain amount of money.
Yes,
because I know
Star Registry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I know that I forget what the exact number is, but it's something like if you named every single star that you can see in plain sight, and it took you 1 second to name each one, it would take you like 1 billion years or something.
Yeah, the number of stars in the sky that they can see, and even I think now they can name ones that you can't see in plain sight because they can see far. Did you? Here's my thing about the Star Registry system is that thing's gonna. I mean, theoretically that's gonna be around forever. Like they're gonna keep track of those names.
Well, yeah.
And eventually we're gonna be able to travel amongst the stars. I'm not saying in our lifetime or in our children's lifetime.
We'll see. Right now, it's considered impossible because of you can't travel the speed of light.
Right, but eventually we're gonna break that. I know at some point we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna be traveling to the like Josh Loves Genie star system, and that's just going to be embarrassing for us.
Yeah.
Like that's my problem with it, because eventually we're going to get a point to be there, and they're going to break out the Star Registry to be like, all right, where can we travel to? And it's going to be fucking dumb.
Yeah,
just all the galaxies are going to be named stupid names, and we're going to have to just chuck them out and redo them all over again because we're not going to be able to look ourselves in the eye anymore. Interesting. Science. Yeah. Welcome to the Media Lunch Break, everybody, where we bring you your comic, geek, and movie news all the time that it takes to eat a good sandwich, and then to top it off with that stale, week-old champagne. You know what still gets you just as drunk. My name is Chris Treble. Alongside me, as always, is my co-host Andrew Dunn. Say hello, Andrew.
Hello, everyone.
So, a movie came out, I guess a little under a month ago.
I want everyone to know that Chris just checked his watch.
It has the date on it, okay? It has the date on it. That's why I checked it. It came out a little under a month ago. It's about a group of a small band of people who are getting together to change space and pioneer a new forefront. And that movie is called Hidden Figures. And
oh, sure.
Also, a Star Wars movie came out.
I was going to say, I didn't see Hidden Figures.
I actually just did.
Yeah?
I just saw it the other day. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Yeah, it is. It is really good.
It looks fantastic.
Give it a look. Also, a Star Wars movie came out. I don't know if you caught that.
Were there wars among the stars?
There was a war among the stars.
Yeah, then I saw that one.
Yeah? Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk? I was going to talk about Hidden Figures, but do you want to talk about this one instead?
I haven't seen Hidden Figures. So.
Okay, then let's talk about this one instead. Okay. So Rogue One, a Star Wars story, came out, and we both happen to have seen it now.
Yep.
I figure by now, pretty much anyone who's going to see it is going to see it. I don't. Again, I waited to see it because we have a tradition in my family, but there's also with these movies, we always do them late. And one of the reasons I kind of like to do them late is because I listen to a lot of podcasts, and so many of them come out like the next day with it. And then I gotta wait because I don't want to spoil the movie for myself.
You know, I have a tradition as well, which is that I forget about it until a week before, and then I can't get tickets until the third week out.
Right. I also have another tradition that I work for a living, and so I don't end up seeing the movie until like 2 weeks later when I finally have a night. Yeah. That I can actually see.
I'm astounded that nothing was spoiled for me. Was anything spoiled for you?
Nothing that I didn't expect to happen. Let's put it that way. Yeah, no major plot points were spoiled in this. But yeah, so so let's delve.
Why don't we start with just an easy non-spoiler, good, bad, What and just in general, like
Right.
overall, would you recommend it?
Overall,
do you think it was great?
I really like this movie.
How would you rank it in the Star Wars movies?
Okay, how would I rank it?
Yeah, among the other movies.
Give me a scale to rank it with.
Well, it's
like
up to
a
your
1 to
own
10?
scale.
Or
No,
you looking at-
like the Star Wars movies.
Like
but you
in the
best,
order
if
of
your
the-
favorite one is Empire,
Okay.
and your
Where does it
least
fall?
favorite is, I don't know, Phantom or Attack of the Clones or whatever.
I mean, the prequels are. We both agree that the prequels are the best, right?
Well, we had a good run, Chris.
My wife maintains that the prequels are the best movies. I'm pretty sure.
Best?
I think she does it just to piss me
I
off.
thought she just liked them.
I think she does it just to make me mad.
All right, well, I'm getting out the divorce papers right now.
Yeah, could you? It's amazing that you have them just in a drawer waiting.
I've been waiting for this day.
I mean, I would say you know what? This seems like a statement. I'm gonna put them right where they fall in the timeline. I'm gonna say right in between the prequels and the original trilogy. I would say that.
Is the original trilogy your least favorite of the...
No, I'm saying original trilogy is...
Sorry. Is A New Hope your least favorite of the original trilogy?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes. And that's not me knocking that movie.
No, definitely. I mean, all three of those movies are so close in
It's
quality.
the other problem is I watch them... Every time I watch them, I usually watch them like in kind of a marathon form.
Yeah.
So they've now kind of molded themselves into one giant movie
definitely.
for me.
Same. That's what I mean by the quality is so close in all three. It basically is one big movie.
You know what? I'd probably put Jedi last in the original trilogy, just because it's the one that sticks with me the least.
Okay, then it wouldn't be between...
Yeah, I would say like prequels are the worst. Let's mold them into just one giant ball of suck. I mean, Phantom Menace is the worst Star Wars movie ever.
So you would put it between whatever the best prequel movie is and Jedi?
Yes. So
where does Force Awakens pop in on that?
Okay, here's my order.
Okay.
This is going to be my official order till the end of the podcast until I change it. Episode 1. This is worst to best. Episode 1, Episode 3, Episode 2.
Wow. Okay.
Rogue One.
Mm-hmm.
Jedi. New Hope. Jedi.
Most people say Empire is the best one.
Yeah, let's say... No, I'm debating where to put Force Awakens. Let's say Jedi, Force Awakens, New Hope, Empire.
Okay.
Let's do that order.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Mine is similar, but it's mixed around from yours, definitely.
Let's hear it.
Oh, I would definitely put Attack of the Clones at the bottom. Like, we thought Phantom Menace was the worst one, and then we had such high hopes that it was going to be better that we made it look better. But after revisiting all of them like 3 or 4 times, Attack of the Clones is such a pile.
It is, but I just can't. Phantom Menace,
Well, here's the thing. Phantom Menace had, like, Darth Maul and, like, really interesting parts.
But, yeah, but
Even the pod race is like, oh, I'm awake again, you know?
True. It is very Star Warsy in that it has these moments of, like... We're not moving the plot at all, but the action in it is pretty good.
I mean, it also has Jar Jar Binks. But
it does. It also, I just hate that end battle. Like, the end battle of a Star Wars movie should be amazing, and I maintain it again and again. It looks like it happens on the screensaver of a Windows 95.
It does. I mean, almost all of the battles in the prequels are horrendous.
Yeah, but... Yeah.
But
okay.
so
Anyway.
I would put episode 2, episode 1
Okay.
barely, you know.
Okay.
I mean, they're so close.
Sure.
I actually think the third one is noticeably better than the other two. But, like, you know, what does that mean?
Yeah, I know, really.
So there's that, and then I put Rogue One not as far above Revenge of the Sith as I would like, but noticeably above that.
Okay.
Then and this is where nerds start to attack me, because in this point, like, I've gotten in so many arguments, and every single time I just have to be like, look,
Yeah, whatever.
But I would put my top is Return of the Jedi. That's my favorite one.
You know, everyone like shits on Jedi.
Yeah.
And there's no problem with it.
You know, I will say one of the things that the prequels did do is they bound us together, because as long as you don't say any of the prequels is your favorite,
that's true.
nerds
Then
just
you're fine.
hug
It doesn't
out.
really matter after that.
But I would probably put
for a long time, Jedi was my favorite. I think
Yeah.
Empire it has kind of made its way up just because, like, I can remember that one the most distinctly, and I think that speaks to me.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's got the best arc.
Yes.
But there's just something about, like, the Rancor and Yoda's death and the Sarlacc pit and Jabba the Hutt. And, like, Luke coming back in all black, you know. He's not the naive, you know,
he is a Jedi. Like, he's a Jedi Knight.
He is in a place of confusion.
Oh, yeah.
You know? He is in the spot between the light and the dark.
Right.
But whatever, that's a whole thing for another episode. But I would put probably, I think Empire is my least favorite because there's something so...
It's in the middle.
Well, there's something so remarkable about A New Hope.
Right.
You know, there's something so, like, every time I watch it, I'm like, this came from nothing.
Yeah.
This is so mesmerizing.
Fair. Absolutely.
I think Force Awakens for me goes... Yeah, probably below Empire. So, like, right before the... So it goes... Rogue One is in between Revenge of the Sith and Force Awakens.
Okay, I see what you're saying. And then, cool.
And then the original.
Nice. Awesome. But overall, when you saw this movie, did you walk out and you were like, I liked it?
You know,
like, what was your initial feeling?
I haven't spoken to anyone about this yet, so this is an exclusive interview.
Excellent. We're going to work through this like a therapy session right now.
I saw it with a handful of people.
Sure.
We later in the holiday had met up with a handful of other people who had seen it, and every single person was like, man, that was fantastic. You know, I can't believe it. And every time I just sort of smiled and nodded.
Right.
I didn't dig it.
Okay.
It was hard for me.
Okay.
It has a lot of problems. I didn't feel anything for any of the characters.
I didn't either. And this is the thing for me. I think because early on, I was wrestling with it while I was watching it. And I think early on in the movie, I came to grips with how should I put this? I kept feeling like, this is a good, like, in-betweener movie, but it's not a great... And then I had to come to the realization of, it is an in-betweener movie. That's it is actually doing exactly what it's supposed to do, which is be an in-betweener movie. Yeah. Which is...
But it also needs to be a good movie.
It does need to be... But that's the thing, is that I think it is a good movie if you watch it in the aspect of, like, this is not going to be the saga movies... It's not going to be that.
I don't. You know, none of the characters change. None of the characters have an arc. The only one who does is the robot.
Right. Yeah, there's certain... There are two big problems I had with it. But overall, I actually enjoyed it. When I went with the ride of it... Yeah. And just kind of settle in and let it kind of wash over me. Yeah, that's when I started to enjoy it. I was like you.
What were the two big problems that you had?
Okay, so the two big problems were this. One is, so very quickly. I mean, I'm gonna say this, and this is so stupid to say at this point. Spoilers. Yeah. Giant spoilers. Definitely. If you haven't seen Rogue One, if you listen to this podcast and you haven't seen Rogue One already, then what the fuck are you even doing? Yeah. But spoilers for Rogue One, a movie that's been out for almost a month.
Thankfully, we don't have enough listeners that we take any shit for this sort of thing.
Christ. I know, but 80 years from now,
yeah, that's true.
Someone's going to listen to this fucking podcast.
I'm going to be on my deathbed and get a text.
And have Rogue One on their Google glasses or whatever the hell they watch this shit with. And they're going to be like, oh, I listened to it before I watched it. Why didn't you say fuck you. Spoilers for Rogue One.
Yeah. So what were your two things?
So the other thing is this, real quick. The plot of this movie is a band of people going around from planet to planet. I guess three problems, because the plot of this movie is there's a
lot of unnecessary detail.
Yeah, like I know what the basic premise of this movie is, that they have to get the plans for the Death Star.
I was worried seeing it with two people who are not big Star Wars nerds. I was like, they're not gonna. It's hard for me.
Yeah, there's a lot of traveling in this movie. Yeah, that I lost
for short periods of time.
And there were a lot of times when I was like, wait, why did we go here? Do you know what I mean? Like, I got what we were doing, but I don't know why we went to this.
That's what I meant by
place.
Unnecessary. Yeah. Like, it felt a lot like there were parts that, especially in the exposition, that felt a lot like the setup for the Phantom Menace wager between Qui-Gon Jinn and
Guado.
Yeah. So the deal that Qui-Gon Jinn sparks up with Guado, that makes no sense. Like, you can watch it over and over again, and it's like 5 minutes long.
Right.
And then they add to and it's convoluted, and it really doesn't need to be. Right. That's what the exposition of, like, going from planet to planet felt like.
Yeah, okay. I kind of get that. So, yeah. So basically, the basic premise of this is Jyn Erso is the daughter of the guy who designed the Death Star.
Galen Erso.
And the Rebel Alliance, this is right before A New Hope, the Rebel Alliance finds Jyn Erso and says, we know your dad developed this weapon.
Yep.
We need you to go find him. And then midway through the movie, they find him and he dies. And then they are like, well, my dad told me where the plans are. We can go get the plans.
He said there's a weakness.
There's a weakness. Yeah. And go get the plans. And if you get the plans, you can find out what the weakness is. So, I mean, overall, when you describe it that way, the basic premise is a great Star Wars movie.
Well, I was going to say, if it's a Star Wars movie, it shouldn't be much more complicated than that.
And it's not. I mean, the actual plot, what I'm saying is the actual plot itself, not that complicated.
Yeah. If you were to explain it to a toddler, right, you could do it.
The one problem it does have is that they go for every tiny little detail. They have to go to a different place.
Yeah, but they didn't have to, you know.
Yeah, I'm saying in the story they had to go.
They ended up doing that.
We always end up talking about like, I'm like, I love this movie, and then we talk an entire episode about things I didn't like about this movie. So I'm going to try and do this in reverse this time.
Okay.
So here are my two things that I didn't like. One is, there were certain points in this movie that the plot had to get to a certain point in order to move forward with the characters, and they did not always feel earned.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yes.
I'm specifically, there were two of them, but the only one I can think of right now is the moment in the it's right after Galen Erso dies, and Jyn Erso has gone back to the Rebel Alliance, and they're all standing around that famous map room.
Yeah.
Right? And they're all going, oh, they built a Death Star.
Right.
We should all give up. We should all barter. We should all
that's an interesting. It's actually a pretty interesting scene.
Oh, I remembered the second one because they're right after each other. But then she's the one who goes, no, we should all, this is a rebellion, and rebellions are built on hope. And she rouses them to all the.
Sort of. She doesn't really, right? Like, don't they still say, nah, sorry, and then she has to gather the other people?
Right. Well, she tries to. I should say she tries to.
Oh, okay, got you.
But she has that, like, rousing speech and da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
And I'm going, and, like, that's a specific point. To move the plot forward, she needed to do that.
Yeah, but
why?
We
weren't there yet. Like, we weren't there with her character yet.
Yeah, she wasn't there yet.
That's what I'm saying. Because her whole thing, they in the story, they want to get her to take them to her father so they can kill him.
Yeah, and she doesn't know that.
And she doesn't know that. All she wants to do is find her dad.
Yeah.
And she does that. And then her dad dies. So for me, at that specific point, because then pretty much like the next scene is that rousing speech scene.
Yeah.
The St. Crispin's Day speech of Rogue One. And at that point in the story, I'm going, nah, she doesn't care anymore. Like, there's no reason. She was never part of this Rebel Alliance.
Yeah. I mean, it's as easy as, like, getting her to pack up her things and walk out the door to...
Right.
And then
to
she
join
realizes,
this cause.
Well, no, even the opposite. I'm saying it's as easy as her being like, "Nah, my dad's dead." Like, I was here.
I came here to do a thing. My dad, and he's dead now, so I'm going to take out.
So she steps out the door, and then it's like, "Well, where the fuck am I going to go?" You know? It's as easy as that. It's just being like, "This is all I have."
Yeah, you need a moment. Yeah. That's what I mean. You could have gotten it needed to get there, and I didn't have a problem with that plot point being in there.
Yeah.
It's just where it fell.
Exactly.
It needed a little.
That's what I'm saying. We needed to know why this is happening because we didn't get it. She's just a woman who's in it for herself, and then she's not.
Exactly. And the other one happened right after when she walks out of that room, and what's his name is there.
Yeah.
With a bunch of guys, and he's going, you know, you're gonna lead us, but you need help, and da-da-da. Again, that wasn't really earned because one of the things I did like about this movie is that it separates itself from the other Star Wars movies.
It did that very well.
It separated itself? Yeah, and I like that about this.
Yeah, me too.
And its cast separated itself from... These are all people with different agendas.
Yeah.
And they don't like each other.
Yeah.
And what I liked about it is that they don't have to like each other to get this whole story done.
Sure.
And that was interesting to me.
Yeah.
And then when she walks out of the St. Crispin's Day speech, she walks into the hangar and she's ready to go. And he walks up and is like, oh, you're the one who should lead this.
Yeah.
But I know you're going to go and get yourself killed. So I brought some guys with. Let's go do this.
Yeah. And
at that point, I'm going, no, you don't like her that much.
Yeah.
You don't care that much.
You don't trust her enough.
You don't, and that's exactly what I said to my wife when we walked out of the theater because we were talking about it, and I said, what should have happened, because that plot point did need to happen. It had to happen. And I'll even argue it did have to happen exactly where it happened in the movie.
Yeah.
But the motivation on why it happened could have been completely opposite and should have been completely opposite and would have moved the story forward just the same amount.
Yeah.
In that he, instead of saying, you know, I believe in you and you turned me around on you and I understand what you're here for now and blah, blah, blah. And now I got a bunch of guys. He goes, listen, you don't know what you're doing. You're an idiot, but you're going to go do this. And I'm a soldier, and I know what I'm doing, and this needs to get done.
Yeah, well, and also...
So if you're going to go do it, I got to bring these guys because you're stupid, and you're going to get yourself killed if you don't.
Well, I would say on top of that, you know, he's got to have a reason for it. And not just because, oh, you're going to get yourself killed, but even you're going to break into one of the main areas.
If you're going to go do this, you're going to fuck it up.
No, not even that. You're already setting an entrance.
Right.
The hard part is getting in there.
Right.
If you're going to get in there, we have an opportunity to blow these motherfuckers up.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? And he's a member of the rebellion, so he would want that. You know?
But that's what I mean. He instead of saying, oh, I believe in you, it should have been the exact opposite.
Yeah.
It should have been like, I don't believe in you at all.
He almost, I think, shouldn't have even helped her try to get the plans. You know?
Right.
There could be a moment where, like... she's about to die or whatever. She's being shot at, and he can sort of like knock her to the ground, and they can hang out for a bit and then travel for a little while.
Sure. Yeah, you can earn that foxhole mentality.
Yeah, exactly.
But they hadn't really been in a foxhole.
That was another thing I really wish that they had said that this was supposed to be their like Saving Private Ryan version of Star Wars, because they're trying out genres of Star Wars movies. I don't think they hit it. I wanted more in the trenches. Like there were a couple cool shots that were like that, but they were mostly in the trailers anyway. Like when the AT-ACT, as it's actually called, comes out.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a cargo transport.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But when that comes out, I was really like, oh, here we go.
Right.
Like, this is like World War II style.
Right.
I feel the scale. But I didn't get enough of that.
I mean, I agree and disagree. I agree. Like I didn't get enough of that, but I think I could have watched that all day because it was. I think the parts that we dig out were.
That's kind of what I mean.
Really
but
good.
like when they're talking about like a Saving Private Ryan or a Band of Brothers, like we didn't. The biggest thing that those movies had that this one didn't was an emotional connection from the audience to the individual characters and from the individual characters to each other. Yeah,
but see, I would argue, and this is the thing that. I think they tried to put it. I think they tried to put that in, and they should have gone the opposite way. Is I was connected with each character individually, but
there was no Avengers Assemble,
need, and it's actually more fun to watch them not have an emotional connection with each other. Because now you're trapping them together. Like you have emotional connection between Donnie Yen and the other guy. That's fine.
That's what I'm
totally
saying.
With it.
That's what I'm saying though. Is that like, okay, we've got an emotional connection, but like who else? Like who does the pilot find a partner in? Who does
what I'm saying is I would have much rather watched that movie and seen them not because this is a war movie, whereas the saga movies are about something greater than it's about destiny, and it's
Sure.
about that sort of thing. And these people come together not through choices of their own, but because they are guided by some greater power
Yeah.
to all be there.
Right.
Han and Chewie included.
Yep.
This is strictly a war story. This is strictly a story about these people don't choose to be next to each other, aren't guided by some greater destiny to be together.
Yeah.
These people are lumped together.
Sure.
They don't have to like each other, and in fact, they don't like each other. And I will watch, because we are in the setting that we are in, I will watch a 2-hour movie where these people don't like each other and go, I don't like you, you don't like me. But if we don't fight alongside each other, we die and we lose.
Yeah.
So let's just hunker down
No,
and get
I like
through
that.
this.
Yeah, that would be good.
You know, and that's the thing, is that I think they tried to kind of put an emotional tie between the characters that you don't really need.
Yeah, that's a good point. I would say that they did 50%.
Because the first half of the movie,
you got to decide one or the other.
Yeah, because the first half of the movie, after I settled into like, all right, you know what? It's not as good as the saga movies, but it's not kind of supposed to be as good because it's in betweener.
Sure.
The first half of the movie I really enjoyed.
Oh,
because
really?
it's them not getting along.
Okay.
It's all about them not getting along.
I think the second act is really what it is.
But the second act, they started...
Well, no. I mean, the first act is like all exposition and it's all Jyn Erso.
Yeah, I get that.
So the second act is sort of them like getting captured and trying to figure stuff out, and then the third act is like
I'm thinking in 2-act structure.
Oh,
Yes,
gotcha.
in a 3-act structure, the second act is all of them, they're going from place to place, and there was too much of that. But it was cool to see the different settings and things like that. So let's expand the universe.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed the second act the most because it's all about, like, I don't like you, you don't like me, we're stuck in this, let's just get this shit done.
For me, I think they climbed. Like, the first act, I was like, okay, what's going on? Let's go.
Right.
Let's get it moving. Second act, I was like, okay, we're starting to learn these characters a little bit. And then by the third one, I was like, yeah, here's what I came for. Like, I want to see these ATSTs, like, just demolishing people. I want to see this stuff happen. But, I felt like the emotions that they were trying to get through from the deaths weren't earned.
Right.
And I also felt like killing all of them was too easy of a choice.
It is, but what are you going to do? You're going to have some of them survive it?
Yeah.
Okay, but that causes... See, I like that they killed them all.
No, see, hear me out.
Okay.
Donnie Yen. That's another thing. I don't remember any of these characters' names.
No, I don't know.
I remember Jyn Erso.
And I keep saying, I remember Donnie Yen, but that's his real name.
His real name. So Donnie Yen, what probably should have happened was like... It blows my mind that he just wanders out there and hits a button and then dies. Like, I guess we're supposed to think like, oh, the Force is doing it.
But that's what I did like that about him.
See, I would rather I think it would be way more interesting to see Donnie Yen, great fighter, this dude who's already taken out like 10 stormtroopers at once,
right?
Take on 10 and then 11 and then 12 all the way through like 20 and 30, and eventually it weighs him down too much. He finally makes it to the thing, hits the button, and it just overpowers him.
Right.
I think at that point, his friend is just puts down the gun and is like, I'm out, and gets in a ship and just flies off somewhere.
See,
there's so many more interesting things you could do than just, they all die.
No, I like that they all died. I do, because I like that it's a tale that... it's kind of like... I don't even know how to put this. I like that it's a tale that only we, the audience, knows.
Okay.
As opposed to something that could get told and incorporated some other time in the saga movies or some other way. Like, I love that it's just a little peek of, like, you didn't know this story. There's a whole other story that you don't know, and no one was going to tell it because no one really knows the details of it, because all these people are dead. They actually, I mean, they say the line in A New Hope, many spies died to bring you these plans.
No, they don't.
They say some sort of line about many something died.
Bothans. None of these people are Bothans. Okay.
Fair. But...
It's an alien race that looks like a lizard dog.
Yeah. But
no Bothans.
Yeah. But I like the idea of, like, this is that story, and no one is going to tell you this story or relay this story in any other way.
No, I agree. I think that character should just fly away and be like, I'm done, and then they should never revisit that because he's just out.
Yeah, but the thing I'll say about Donnie Yen's character is I liked his death because, for me, that was the one character that I was like, there's he earned something personal in a way. I'm not really voicing this correctly. What I liked about him is that he wasn't a Jedi Knight, and there was something compelling about the idea of a guy who you could feel, I think, wanted to be that.
No, definitely.
And wasn't destined to be that.
I think they had a great root character that they sort of threw away, but
no, but I don't think they did.
Yeah.
I like the idea because when he goes out, you can see him kind of when he's doing that whole I'm one with the Force and the Force is one with me. When he's walking out, there's just the slightest hint of tremor in his voice of like, definitely. I don't know if I'm right about this.
And that's good acting.
It is, but what I'm saying is, that's why I like that moment of like, whereas if he had taken on like 10 stormtroopers, then 20 then 30 stormtroopers, then it's like, well, so that guy could have been a Jedi Knight the whole time.
I mean,
but what I
think
like
that would be really cool,
right? But what I like about him is that it expands the universe in this idea of like, there are people who follow the Jedi and just aren't going to be.
Yeah.
Like this guy never was going to be that. He might have wanted it, but he just never, he was not going to be that.
I don't know if you remember this discussion, but we've had the same discussion about Han Solo, how I think that he is a very powerful Force user.
Oh, really? Have we had this discussion?
Yeah, I don't remember if it was on mic or not, but I'm very confident that he is. And they haven't ever really touched on it, but there are many examples. But we can get into that in another episode. But yeah, that's something that I think is really interesting. Yeah. Here's another big problem, though. Speaking of Donnie Yen's character and all of the characters, all of the characters had one thing they had to accomplish for this,
right? And
then once they did, it was fine for them to die in their minds. Like there's the part where the ship pilot. Puts the thing in the thing, and that's good. Yeah. And then someone throws a grenade in, and he looks at it, and he's like, yeah. And there's like 10 seconds where he just sits there for a minute, and then it explodes. Or like Donnie Yen is like, Donnie Yen is like, I flipped the switch, yay, and then just gets shot by a laser.
But I think in that moment, with the Donnie Yen character, I think that he was at peace of, I'm definitely going to die.
But there's no conflict then. Like if they're like,
I think he went out.
I don't feel for them.
Right, but I think he went out as soon as he stepped out onto that sand.
I got it, and that's fine, but it's not compelling. Like that's a choice you can make, but you can make basically any choice. And it makes sense with the character, but I would much rather see people who don't want to die. If they want me to feel sad for these characters who are dying, I really want to see people trying not to die.
But see, I don't think that it was that they wanted to die. I felt that they were fighting not to die and then came to terms with their inevitability.
I see. That's not. I didn't get.
Like,
I don't feel that
they come to terms like.
But you said this is not a thing that is guided by fate.
Right, but I'm saying in the inevitability, and like as soon as the ATSTs show up on the beach, they're like, we're fucked.
Well, they knew that before they went on there. They were fairly certain they were going to die. That doesn't mean like if you and I were like. If there was a zombie apocalypse right now and we were like, if we go outside, we're out of food here, but if we go outside, we're definitely going to die.
Right.
Here we go. We got to just do it. We grab a bat and walk out there, and then we'd be like, well, it's been good, I guess. You know what I mean?
Right, but that's after. but in that scenario, one, I would very easily sacrifice you to the zombies and run away.
It would be very easy to do.
Yeah, and two, like. I would.
So you would run for your life.
Oh, definitely.
Great. So should these people.
Yes, but they are. But in that scenario, we are fighting for survival. In this scenario, they are fighting for a cause.
I agree, but survival should also be on their list.
Right, but they are. But they were trying to survive. But they were just trying to survive long enough to get something done for their cause.
I see. I don't think that makes them human then. Because to me, like, I'm not going to connect to these...
Well, they're Bothans, so what do you want
They're not Bothans.
Listen.
I'm not going to connect to these people if they don't have human characteristics. And a human characteristic is, okay, I did this thing, now I got to get home and tell everyone about it, because I don't want to die here.
Right,
so, like,
I mean, I'll agree with you on the grenade thing. I will say, like, somebody threw it in, and he didn't even make a move for it. The Donnie Yen thing, I really think, like, he flipped that switch, and... I think he walked out knowing he was going to die, and so he's like, all right, this is going to be my last act.
Right, but that doesn't mean that you're okay with it. You know what I mean?
You can be okay with it. Why couldn't you be okay with it?
It's not compelling then. Like, we could have watched a movie of, like, 12 people who were like, meh.
No, but I don't think they were like meh. I think they were.
I got the feeling that everyone about their deaths were like meh.
I got the feeling that there were only 2 characters. Well, no, I see what you're saying.
Almost everyone.
In the moment of their death, they were okay with it.
Yeah.
But everything leading up to the moment.
Agreed. That's the thing I don't get, is that they're struggling and struggling and struggling,
right.
and then when
some of them should have just been shot in the back. I think.
Right, or
right,
even
I get
how about if there's like 10 people on the ship when the grenade gets thrown in,
right?
And our captain jumps on it.
Yeah,
that to save everybody.
Yeah,
that's
no, I get what you're saying.
Or a ship gets knocked down and you're like, I tried, and it like falls in its ground. The only character that I cared about when he was dying, and he was the only one who cared as well that he was dying, and worried about the other people while he was dying.
You're gonna say the droid, aren't you?
Was the droid K2SO?
Yeah, K2SO was.
I mean, look, you put Alan Tudyk in anything, and he is exceptional.
Yeah. All right, let me get through the other point of thing that I didn't like, and then I'll get to a bunch of points that I actually did like about this.
Sure.
This is kind of a smaller one. The first Darth Vader scene for me really bugged me.
I don't think I liked anything with him.
The second Darth Vader scene with the lightsaber, I thought was awesome.
I didn't dig it.
But
I'll go into why.
But the first scene, there were little things about it that bugged me. And listen, we got Darth Vader in a new movie. So
Great.
I'm parsing
James Earl Jones.
Yeah, I'm parsing hairs here, and I'll be the first one to admit that. There were little things about, obviously, and everyone's like, it's because he's older. Yes, I get it. His voice is a little different.
I don't care about that.
But the only thing that bugged me, it wasn't that his voice is different. It's that
his personality is different.
His personality is different,
yeah.
And he is so anti-Semitic. His personality. No, his voice is different in this, obviously, from age. And obviously, I'm not saying like James Earl Jones shouldn't have gotten older in this.
Right.
What I'm saying is, we have the technology to literally make a character out of a dead man.
Did it occur to you that they did this intentionally for any number of reasons?
But I couldn't, for a split second, then I was like, but why? Because I know that this movie is right before A New Hope.
Well,
so how much time could have passed that his voice would be different?
Well, here's the thing. There is reason to believe, and I haven't read anything about this, I haven't done any research, but there is reason to believe that he is still healing from the problems. There's reason to believe that, maybe he gets, we see him between every single movie in the original trilogy. He changes his entire wardrobe. He gets a new helmet. He gets a new chest pack.
Right.
It's possible that these things are changing between each and everything, and that his voice is going to be a little different. There's a possibility as well that he is a little bit younger.
Yeah, but he doesn't sound younger.
Well,
here's the thing. I understand what you're saying, but also in between those movies, there's a larger time span that is between this movie and A New Hope.
Sure.
And so I'm like, I don't know how much...
It is hard to pinpoint between this movie and A New Hope.
It is,
It could be literally anything between, 10 minutes and, a year or two.
But I know... Well, no, I know for a fact, because they've said it, this movie ends, 10 minutes before A New Hope begins. Yes. Because... we'll get into that in a second. But I
think that's a poor mistake.
That first scene with him, his voice is different. And again, it's not James Earl Jones' fault.
Yeah.
We have the technology to bring a dead man and make him a major character in the movie.
I mean, we're already doing an effect on his voice anyway.
Right. So what the hell?
Yeah.
Make it sound exactly like A New Hope. Why not? What are you doing? That bugged me. And also, there was something in the writing that they didn't write his voice... his personality.
His personality. Yeah. It's very strange.
And it caught me off guard for a little while, and I realized what it was. He makes a
like a pun.
Yeah, he makes a pun.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Darth Vader doesn't speak in puns.
Don't choke on your ambitions.
Yeah, don't choke. And that's the most obvious one, but there were little things even throughout that whole scene that I was like, this doesn't sound like him.
Maybe he's more at home. He's in his he's
lounging around his
his lava castle.
Well, I mean I will say they flew into that and I was like, that's badass.
Yeah, his Sauron castle.
Yeah. I was like, I turned to her and I was like, are they a Mordor right now? What the fuck is this? And look, when they opened that tube up and he's in the liquid and everything, I was
the
like,
rejuvenation
this
chamber.
is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And then he started speaking, and I was like, the fuck is this? And then I was listening to what he was saying, and I was like, this is not how Darth Vader speaks.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, maybe he's at home. You know, this is how he talks when he's playing Xbox or whatever the hell he does. Yeah. But like when he's like, "Don't choke on your," I was like, he doesn't speak in puns. He speaks in direct
I forgot
quotes.
as well to mention that Star Wars Rebels, the cartoon show, which is canon, has been going on throughout this entire thing from Revenge of the Sith to A New Hope. They're bridging that gap as well, and there is reason to believe that. Someone hypothesized that the reason he's in that rejuvenation chamber is because he has just had a fight with someone that happened in Rebels.
Oh, really?
So he could be damaged from that fight, which could affect his voice as well. And he's, slowly recurring in this rejuvenation chamber.
Bullshit.
I know. I'm making excuses, but I'm just saying it's an option.
Don't make excuses for Kathleen Kennedy. All right, I don't need here.
She has done amazing things.
She has done amazing things. I'm not like I said. This is parsing hairs as far as Darth Vader is concerned.
Right.
And also, it was weird. The way he walked was weird. I understand it's not David Prowse in the suit.
Yeah, it's a different guy.
And so I just gotta get used to it. Maybe I just gotta get over that because it's not. That there's not much you can do. Like, it's a different guy.
Just for fun, they should have switched it up and had him do the voice and have James Earl Jones be the body.
Yeah, well, I mean, what the fuck? Why not?
Would have been great.
So that first scene with Darth Vader, it kind of bugged me.
Yeah.
It just got under my skin.
It kind of felt unnecessary too. Like,
Yeah.
We don't need to know why this guy is doing this stuff. He's a general.
However, I will say, like, they had a C-3PO and an R2-D2 cameo.
Yeah.
That one I was like, we don't need that cameo.
Yeah.
The Darth Vader cameo, it's unnecessary, but it was like, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
I would rather have had the R2-D2 cameo at the end of the movie.
Yeah, totally.
It would have made more sense.
So, those were the two things that bugged me about the movie. Overall, like I said, because I don't want to spend all time just trashing the movie.
Yeah.
You're like,
I'll
do that. I actually did like this movie. Once I came to terms with what this movie is, an in-between movie, I was like, okay, I'm going to settle in. I'm just going to let this wash over me. I'm not going to get like that invested in it like I did with Force Awakens or anything. And I really enjoyed it. There were some really enjoyable parts of this movie. Yes, there are problems overall.
Yeah.
I think one of the things this movie did really well was someone described this, I think it was Kevin Smith, but someone described this as like a movie for the people who bought the toys as a kid.
Yeah.
And I mean this in a good way, not in a marketing way. But when the Star Wars toys came out, when you're a kid and you have action figures, you take them everywhere you go.
Yeah.
And you play with them on whatever surface you have.
Definitely.
And you make believe on that. And this very much felt like a movie for all those kids who like just took them everywhere, and they're like, they play with it in the grass and they play with it in the sand, and you imagined what this world would be like and what these things would be like in these different settings.
Yeah.
What it looks like in the rain and on the beach and in the far, you know what I mean? It does all of that, and for that I was like, good job, way to go. Like,
sure,
you expanded the universe in that way, in a way that I think was really enjoyable to a lot of the people who've been around for a while and wanting to see these familiar things in an unfamiliar place.
So you're saying it's like a child made it?
Yes.
Okay, great.
It's like a 4-year-old made a Star Wars movie, and I think that's very evident throughout. There was one other really nice
I wanted to
thing.
talk about the final Darth Vader scene. I can't remember where I heard this, but it was some review that mentioned that, like, okay, so this wants to be a standalone Star Wars movie, right?
Right.
Like, it wants to be able to take itself seriously without comparison to any of the other anthologies. Having the villain end the movie in this, like, enormous climax of just murder with fanboys cheering and screaming is a little weird. Like, imagine if we did Schindler's List.
Okay.
And Hitler came out and just started, like, wrecking Jews while people were just, like, cheering and screaming.
Okay.
And you know what I mean?
Yes, no, I'll grant you that. I think what was so cathartic about that moment is that we finally got a scene with a character that we have been told for 6 movies is completely badass.
Sure.
And for 6 movies, we didn't really see that. We saw it the best that they could, like in the original trilogy, we saw the best that they could attempt to do it with the abilities that they had at the time.
Yeah.
But that being said,
see, I think what we got was a little bit of the prequels.
We got I will agree with you. I think we got a little bit of the prequels, but not so much that it felt it didn't feel out of character.
It felt out of character to me. What in A New Hope? Watching A New Hope,
right?
You talked about the voice and how different the voice is from this movie. A New Hope.
Right.
In what point in A New Hope do we see him capable of doing anything like that?
No, but that's what I'm saying. Is that the way that they talk about Vader in A New Hope,
right?
Indicates that he could do something like that.
But I think all the more reason that maybe he doesn't even pick up the lightsaber. Maybe he walks in. They everyone stops, points their gun at him, and they're like, "We're gonna shoot or whatever." He doesn't move. There's a second of silence, and he just spreads his arms, and everyone just smushes against the wall. And I mean, that would have been cool too.
But what I'm saying, I think your fake scene and the scene that we actually got. The reason I like this scene is it kind of accomplishes the same thing of we finally just got to see Darth Vader be as powerful and as ruthless as they've always talked about.
Yeah,
and so
that's great.
That. For me, it was satisfying.
I've seen him ruthless. That's the thing, is that we see him ruthless in the original trilogy.
It was just fun to watch.
I disagree.
I loved it.
You know what else is fun to watch? The fight with Darth Maul. Look at all those cool flips. Look at them hitting those sticks together.
Yeah, but that's just flips for flips' sake. This was just we know Darth Vader's evil. Let's just watch him be evil. Let's just live in that for a second.
I mean, for me, this is no better than putting, Vader's helmet on Darth Maul and watching that. It's the same thing. I don't care. I don't need to be showed that he's this badass character. We know Darth Vader is badass. I don't need a fight scene where he just first of all, where there's no conflict. There's nothing for me to worry about him. He's not gonna lose.
Still don't care. I just liked watching it.
I hated it. It was it felt so out of place to me.
I mean, I understand it feeling out of place because it was just out of nowhere, but at the same time, I just lived in it and was like, look at all this.
I think most people did, and I don't know, man. It didn't do it for me. I was, that's not what makes a good Star Wars movie. What makes a good Star Wars movie is the fight between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader.
Yes.
Where they're staring each other down and being like, are we doing this?
Yes. No, I get that. And I agree with you on that. At the same time, I was like, again, maybe it's because this could possibly be the last time we really see this character. I don't know what other movies we could throw in with him being there.
Yeah. We're probably not going to make any in-between trilogy movies.
Exactly. And so that I think for it being the last scene that we could possibly really get with him, I'm like, let's end on that note.
See, here's the thing.
If that was the last Darth Vader,
hold on. Because if you want to do that, put him down in the trenches.
Oh, yeah, no.
You want to do that? Put him on the beach.
Oh, yeah, I'm not going to argue with that.
Have the Emperor be like, you know what? Whatever your name is, who's the guy all in white, Ben Mendelsohn, whatever your character's name is.
I think that's the character's name.
Yeah, Bendelson. They just be like, you're not cutting it. I'm sending my first in command, my right-hand man.
Me.
And have him just come down. Can you imagine seeing just a low shot from the ground of the beach and seeing people blast each other from 200 feet away, and then just hearing the lightsaber sound and seeing the end of a red lightsaber?
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm not disagreeing with you that I would love to see that scene as well. But I'll take any scene where I get to see Darth Vader really be Darth Vader as Darth Vader-y as he can be.
Which is interesting because I don't think that's Darth Vader.
I totally do. I absolutely do.
Darth Vader is a quiet, strategic, brilliant mind who is at one with the Force. I don't see him, really swinging a lightsaber that much. He kind of did in Jedi. Yeah, but
he does, when he needs to.
Yeah. Clearly, now he does.
Right. Well, no, but I think that's always been just below the surface, and I think we just got, again, because this is a glimpse of a thing that we would never. This is a tale that would otherwise go untold.
Yeah.
You're gonna see things that you don't expect to see.
Yeah.
And that's Darth Vader being as mobile as he is.
I want things to surprise me in these movies, certainly, but I don't want things that feel to me like they go against the character that has already been fleshed out. And that felt like it was.
All right. Well, before we move on to something else and finish this up, there were 2 things I wanted to ask. And I can only remember one of them now.
How'd you feel about Tarkin?
Oh, that's another thing. I think because I knew what they were doing, like I knew they were working against time itself, I guess. They were working with limited stuff. Yeah, the face is a little rubbery. It kind of falls in that uncanny valley section.
Yeah.
But overall, I was like, that was pretty good. It was pretty well done. I was surprised that he was so much of an involved character.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if that was a good choice.
I don't know if it was a good choice because the longer he's there, you really start to notice it. Yeah. But for the most part, I actually... And again, maybe this is because I knew the circumstances of having to make this character.
I think probably, and I have a reason for that.
But I think it was... then I kind of went along with it.
Yeah. The first time I saw him, I was very taken aback. I really didn't like it in the first scene.
Yeah.
The more I saw it, though, oddly, the more I sort of warmed up to it, but it still didn't make it good for me.
It didn't make it great for me. I thought it was good, but it wasn't great.
Yeah.
And like I said...
Definitely.
I think I gave him a pass. Yeah. Because I was like...
Yeah.
And good on them for trying to... Instead of trying to just create 2 new characters...
Sure.
That you'd have to explain... where did, obviously we know what happened to Ben Mendelsohn's character.
Yeah.
But then having to explain, like, what happens to, why isn't this other character in A New Hope?
Yeah.
Just using, what's his face's name?
Who?
The guy we're talking about.
Peter Cushing?
That's it. I couldn't
Tarkin?
remember if it was Cushing.
Grand Moff Tarkin?
Yeah. Trying to use that character.
Yeah.
Then I think that's a better choice.
Yeah, I think so.
And yeah, it looks a little weird, but for the most part, actually, I thought it was a really well done attempt.
I saw it with 2 people who were not big Star Wars fans, and neither of them knew that was not a human being.
Yes, and the same as me as well.
Yeah.
Somebody, or at least they knew there was something up, and they didn't know, but they couldn't quite put their finger on what.
They didn't know at all. I was like, did you catch the CGI person? And
yeah, somebody had to go, is that guy dead? In fact, I think it was my wife. My wife was like, he's dead, right? I was like, yeah, he's dead.
He's very dead.
He's very, very dead. So I think it was, look, would I do it again? No, maybe not.
Do what again?
Try to do this with another character? Maybe not. Yeah. Like we said last episode, maybe with Princess Leia in some capacity. Not to the extent...
No. Before you jump to the defense, because I normally disagree with you about things, but a lot of people really didn't like the Carrie Fisher CGI at the end of this movie.
I didn't either.
I loved it.
I
thought it was spot on.
It was spot on. You know what? I think it was the voice was really not on.
I thought it sounded just like.
I know it. And everyone's gonna be like, she said one word.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, you're right.
Well, also they kept it short and sweet.
They did keep it short and sweet. When she said, I was like, that's not her. But then again, it was only one word, so I think it's like it's either gonna ring very true or it's gonna ring totally false. Yeah. Like there's no time to like settle into it.
It also wasn't her.
Yeah, it wasn't her. But you're right. That CGI face was spot on.
Yeah,
it really was. Yeah, I wouldn't. Like I said, maybe with episode 9, I wouldn't mind them doing it with her image for a little bit, just so that you can close the character off.
I don't think it's
I don't want you to build the movie around it the way they did in Rogue One. Give me like one scene or even one moment with that character in that way so that you can give her some sort of a closure.
See, I really think they should only do it if they've got a plot and a script that really works with her and there's no other way to do it than to do that. I don't think it's necessary.
Right.
I think it would be a much better choice to just
open with a funeral or something. I think and
we'll feel it too. Like that'll hurt so much if we see like Han and Chewie and Rey just like...
Yeah, but I think it'll hurt partially because of real world circumstances.
Partially, yeah.
But I don't want that. Like, when I'm in the movie theater, I don't want to be like, oh, I'm feeling this because I know that she's actually dead.
Okay, but to me, I would feel a connection to those characters and to be able to be like, I know what you're feeling, you know? Like, we went through that too. That's almost the same person.
Yeah, but it's almost the same person.
Yeah.
Whereas if I saw at least one scene with her and then that was her demise, and then we go to the funeral scene, then I'm going, now I'm mourning Leia. I'm not mourning the fact that we have to open with a funeral scene because we have some sort of we have
something
some
that doesn't have to do with the storyline.
Yes, exactly.
Storyline, yeah.
Shit. There was really something else I was gonna...
I've been trying to stall for you.
Yeah, no, I can't think of it. It's gonna... Oh, I know what it was. Hold on. So, this is a fun thing to end on. So, a while back, you told me about something that you read and you've adopted, and I've adopted too. The order in which you would show a fresh face, the Star Wars movies.
Oh, yeah.
From best to...
Well, no.
I'm sorry, not best to worst, but the best viewing order to watch them in.
Yes. Because the
Go ahead, explain it.
The infinite problem is that if you watch it from from original trilogy to the prequels,
right,
you end on sort of a sour note because they're not very good.
Yes.
But if you start with the prequels and then end with the original trilogy, you ruin the surprise of Darth Vader being Luke Skywalker's father.
Exactly.
So what do you do in that circumstance? And the idea is that you watch episodes 4 and 5, you get that surprise. And then I think most people say you skip 1 and you watch 2 and 3.
Right.
And then you finish strong with Return of the Jedi.
Right. So my question for you is... Oh, and I remember the second thing now. But my question for you is, with this new movie, where would you put that in that order?
I'd leave it out.
Really?
Yeah.
You'd leave it out completely?
I don't like it.
Just because you don't... Yeah, but nobody likes the prequels, and you're still including the prequels.
Sort of. I mean, here's what I'll say. Like, the prequels add to the story. This doesn't.
Okay.
This answers one question, which is, why is there an exhaust port that leads to a thing? And
so you just wait until that person goes, why is there an exhaust port?
And you say, oh, well, if you really care, there's a movie, but if you don't have the 2 hours, it's because the guy built it intentionally to blow up the Death Star.
Okay, that's fair.
I mean, that's all. See, that's the thing about this movie. It didn't feel like it was written around Leia or around Darth Vader or whatever else.
Right.
It felt like it was written around a single question that didn't really need to be answered.
Yeah. Yeah, but I thought it was at least a fun ride if you wanted to answer it.
How'd you feel about Forrest Whitaker?
He was fine for the moments he was in. If he had stayed around for the whole movie, it'd get really fucking annoying.
Yeah, I could see that.
It was kind of cool. Once when I left and I thought about it, I was like, oh, that's kind of neat because he was kind of Darth Vader-y, but he's on the good side.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a light balance to the dark side.
Chaotic good.
Yes, exactly. A yin and a yang situation.
Yeah.
The other thing I was going to ask is this. This is the first Star Wars movie that is not a saga movie.
Yeah.
However, it is saga related. And I was thinking about this later. Do you think we'll ever get a movie that is a Star Wars movie that is not saga related?
At all.
At all. It just takes place in this universe.
What, you mean like a Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead?
No, but even that would be saga related. Like, so you have the saga movies, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And this movie falls in where it's not a saga movie, but it does directly involve plot elements and branches off.
You've got your saga that's the tree trunk, and then you've got little branches coming off.
Do you ever think we will, in this forest, just go to another tree?
Well, it's hard to say because, like, you really have to define what the tree trunk is, because are Jedi part of that? Like, you can't do anything with Jedi?
No, you can do things with Jedi.
It just can't relate to any of the characters?
It just can't, yeah. It can't branch off of the story of Luke, Han, and Leia.
Then yeah, I think
and Darth Vader.
I think that's inevitable.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, this is such a money-making franchise that, like, there's only so much you can do with those characters.
But so far, because what I'm saying is so far, all of the movies that have been planned are things that have touched within the saga.
Well, that's kind of what I mean, is that they're going to run out of stuff to do pretty quick.
Right.
They're going to run out of stuff to do before these actors are too old to play their characters.
Yes.
You know, because you can sort of keep passing the torch down as long as it keeps making money. But I think they're chalking their schedule too full of movies right now, and they're still making money. They know that if they could release a movie once a month that's a Star Wars movie, and we'll pay to see it.
True fact.
So yeah, it's only a matter of time before we just get it's going to be hard to market it, but they'll figure it out. To just say this is like Star Wars, it's in the same universe.
It's the Star Wars universe, but it has nothing.
It doesn't involve these characters.
Does this make you more or less excited for the Han Solo?
Maybe less, slightly.
Yeah.
It makes me cautious.
Okay.
Because I didn't hate this movie.
Right.
It's visually beautiful.
It is stunning.
Yeah. I mean, the scale work.
Yes.
Like I said, when you see that.
He does that really well.
Yes. Yeah, because he did Godzilla.
Yeah.
When you see those AT-ACTs come in, it's just magnificent. I also felt like there was a moment missed, not to go back on just like trashing this movie.
Right.
But I felt like there was a moment missed where there's a scene where all of the characters look up, including Donnie Yen, who is blind. Right. And they all at the same time look up, and we see the AT-ACTs come through. I felt like it would have been a great moment for Donnie Yen to be like, oh my god, and look up by himself and no one sees anything, and then you hear stomping first, and then you see it come in.
Yeah.
It would be because he's the force sensitive one.
Exactly.
You feel those coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm. It basically, I mean, on a scale, it doesn't affect how excited I am.
Okay, cool. Hey, you want to move on to reading assignments?
Yeah, did you read mine?
I did, actually.
Nice.
So let's go on to reading assignments. You want to start, or do you want me to start?
I can start. I've got it up somewhere. I think you've got it now.
I do.
That's fine. I don't need it. I just finished it. Flash Reborn. It's a very interesting...
Flash Rebirth.
That's what I said.
Yep.
It's a very interesting read. It's very wordy, which I was not expecting.
Yeah, so some background on this. Flash Rebirth it's written by Jeff Johns.
Yeah.
Which is one of the reasons I wanted you to read it, because pretty much anything by Jeff Johns at this point is kind of relevant. And he's fantastic. Yeah. But because he's in charge of the DCEU.
And he's been pretty much in charge of the Flash show as well, right?
I mean, I'm sure he has some kind of...
His name's always on it in the credits.
Is it? I'm sure because of his position at Warner Brothers and with the DCEU, he has some sort of hand in it, that sort of thing. But just to give those who don't know it a little background on the plot. Well, do you want to do it, or do you want me to do it? You're like, I don't know what this plot is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the background too well. There were things I didn't quite understand,
right.
So maybe you should do it.
Back in the 80s, there was Crisis on Infinite Earths, which was the kind of seminal collapsing of the multiverse. This was the first time that I think one of the publishers had really tried to restart their universe, because the Silver Age had been going on for so long and there were so many loose threads. They decided to collapse it into one universe and kind of start over again. In it, one of the most famous things that happen is that the Flash, Barry Allen, sacrificed himself to save all of reality and to save the universe.
And he was gone for like ever,
and
right?
that was the other thing, is that this was a guy, again, this was the Flash of the Silver Age.
Yeah.
And in a genre where death really doesn't mean anything, you'll be back in a little bit.
Yeah.
They kept him dead for 80s, 90s, aughts, for at least 20 some odd years. Up until, fairly recently.
Yeah.
When they decided to bring him back and finally kind of re-establish him. And before that, Wally West, the Kid Flash, had taken up the mantle.
Yeah.
So this is the story of him actually Barry Allen coming back to life in the DCU proper.
Yeah.
He
He fights around all sorts of people. One of the things that's really interesting that really sparks the actual plot of the story, because that is sort of the jumping point.
Right.
In fact, I don't even think you see it happen. The first page is like, wow, it's great to have Barry Allen back.
Right.
And one of the first things that starts happening is he doesn't know how he escaped the Speed Force, because that's where he was. He was trapped in the Speed Force, and he somehow got out. He's not sure how. He doesn't remember. But other people start getting out of the Speed Force as well, other speedsters who were trapped. And he is like, oh no, this guy's out. I gotta chase him down and stop him. And with one touch, these people just start disintegrating. And he doesn't know why it's happening.
Right.
So he's trying to figure out why he's just murdering these villains by touching them.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting.
So overall, like or dislike?
It felt like right in the middle.
Okay.
It was maybe a little above. It was good. It was an enjoyable read. It didn't change my world. It didn't change my feelings on the Flash.
Okay.
It didn't. It's not. If I had to make a top 10, it's probably not going on there. But it was a good time.
Sure. Anything specific you found interesting?
It was. It was. Yeah. I mean, it was sort of a whodunit, but it wasn't shaped that way.
Okay.
It's also interesting to see.
You love a good whodunit.
I do love a good whodunit, and I think you do as well.
I do too. Especially in comic form.
Yeah.
If you get, because that's a hard medium to pull a whodunit.
It is.
And if you can pull it off.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's well done if you can do it. The one of the other things that I found very interesting about that, though, is that it is a whodunit, but it's not. It's structured just like a regular comic, and there isn't really anything that's it's leading towards.
Right.
Like, you don't know that there's a mystery or anything. No one's really actively searching for anything.
Right.
And then stuff comes out. It's also interesting that, it seems like almost every single Flash volume that you give me, every single trade paperback, he is surprised to find out that Thawne murdered his mother.
Yeah.
How many times does that happen?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one thing about the Flash, is that for an outsider, it's very hard to crack into, because there's between the Speed Force and the fact that they can travel in time, it's hard to keep track of it, even if you're a fan.
Yeah.
So to try and get into it, to figure out what the fuck is going on at any given moment, because the interesting thing about Vaughn is also the thing that's, again, very hard to crack into if you haven't been a fan of this for a long time, is that whenever Vaughn shows up, you never know which Thawne. I keep saying Vaughn and it's Thawne.
Eobard Thawne.
Eobard Thawne. Whenever Reverse Flash shows up, you never know which Reverse Flash you're gonna get.
Sure.
It's one of the most interesting things about the character, but I think it's also one of the most frustrating things about the character, is that the Flash and the audience also always have to establish, did this Thawne already fight in the last fight that they just had, or is this Thawne younger than you know what I mean?
Right.
You never know where the hell it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So it's a constant restarting and redoing over.
Well, it's interesting too, because if Thawne can just travel willy-nilly through time,
right,
he could be any version of himself. There's an interesting point in this as well, not to spoil anything, but and this isn't really a spoiler, but it's a minor spoiler for a very tiny subplot.
Right.
But that he admits that every single trouble and tribulation that Barry Allen has experienced throughout his life has been caused by Thawne.
Right.
He's like, remember when you broke your arm from falling down the steps? You felt like someone pushed you, but when you turned around, there was no one there?
Right.
That was me. Remember when, you fell off that bridge because that gust of wind knocked you over? That was me. Over and over and over again.
Yeah. I've just been going throughout time just trying to find different ways
to
just
that's my
fuck
hobby.
with you. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, he is a compelling villain in that he's just dedicated his life to just fucking with Barry Allen forever.
It's magnificent in that way.
Yeah. So, but overall, I mean, I'm glad that you enjoyed
hard.
it.
The only part that was hard for me, and it wasn't really hard for me because I knew all the main players.
Right.
But I don't know any of the sub players.
Yeah, there's a vast sub family in the Flash.
Well, and also the villains. I was like, I don't know any of these people.
Well, he has a rich rogues gallery.
Yeah.
You just kind of
all the speedsters. I know Captain Cold and Captain Boom. Why does he have so many captains? It's Captain Boomerang and Captain Cold, right?
Captain Boomerang and Captain Cold. Yeah.
Are they like? Did they get promoted from something, or are
it was Private Boomerang, and then he distinguished himself in battle.
he couldn't stop laughing at the word private?
Yeah, and they were like, "Ugh, just give him the fucking promotion already. Just do it." And they're like, "You're Captain Boomerang," and he's like, "Cat." Oh wait, there's nothing really.
It's not as good. I quit.
Yeah,
So
and
he's
that's how
stuck
he
at
left
Captain.
the military.
Great.
Yeah. But yeah, there's again that family and that history is kind of rich and long. So sometimes it can get a little tedious.
Yeah.
I gave it to you to warm you up for your next reading assignment.
Ooh, did you bring it?
No, I didn't. I decided I'm calling an audible. I will give it to you at some point, but I'm giving you a different one in between.
Okay.
A gift was given to me over for my birthday, actually, that I read, and I ended up really, really liking it. And it is in my backpack somewhere. This is called Superman Earth 1.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yes. So Superman Earth 1, now this is volume 1.
Nice.
If you read it and you really enjoy it, I downloaded volume 2 and 3.
Earth 2, volume 1.
I downloaded the second and third volume,
Nice.
which is kind of like the whole trilogy, the whole arc of it. Earth 1 was a series of graphic novels that DC put out with a few of their characters. There is a Batman Earth 1,
Nice.
and a Wonder Woman Earth 1, and a Teen Titans Earth 1.
Oh.
And where they told the kind of the first year of all of these characters. Now, that's kind of par for the course, especially with Superman and Batman, to get new origin stories.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
I know you read Superman Birthright a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
There have been Superman origin stories done to death. One of the things I liked about this is that I think it takes kind of a not a fresh take on Clark, but a very human and almost logical sense on where a kid who is learning to become a hero
Nice.
would come from.
Yeah. That sounds cool.
Yeah, much better than something like Birthright that was just, let's adapt Superman for the 21st century and give him a cell phone. Like this, it has all of that too.
Yeah.
But it takes a fresh take on Clark and his naivete and him growing into being the noble superhero that is Superman.
Right.
And him trying to figure it out. So you see him kind of screw up a little bit.
Okay.
And it's like I said, I kind of went into this not expecting a whole lot.
Yeah.
And then finding myself kind of addicted to it and thinking about it after I got done with it.
Nice.
So I
That's
really enjoyed
exciting.
it. So that is yours for this week.
Ooh.
Yeah. And it's hardcover, so it's fancy.
It's so nice.
Yeah.
It's so clean and fresh.
I know.
I actually got a bunch of good stuff for Christmas as well. I didn't get this one for Christmas, but I'm currently reading The Vision.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see how that turns out. If it goes as well as I hope it is, I'm gonna give you that at some point.
Awesome. Yeah, because I've heard really good things about that.
Yeah, it looks really good.
So for my reading assignment, you gave me Astonishing X-Men, which is I believe this was Joss Whedon's first run
could
on
be
Astonishing X-Men. I know he had a long run, but I think this was the beginning of his run.
Of X-Men, you mean, or of Astonishing?
Of Astonishing.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it. So the obviously we all know who Joss Whedon is, so I'm not gonna talk about that. But there were I forget when this was published, but there are definitely elements of X3 in this movie. It basically centers around that they have a cure for the mutant gene, and there's a debate on whether this is a good thing or a bad thing, and then some things are found out, and they have to kind of go investigate where this cure is coming from and exactly who is putting it out and why and such and such and such and such.
And that's only the first half.
And that's only the first half. That was the one disappointing thing, was I got done with this and I was like, yeah, all right. I'm waiting for it to wrap up, and it totally ends.
That's funny, because that to me is
in the middle of it at like a giant cliffhanger, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, I really wanted to see the poetic ending. And
I've got the second volume. I haven't read it yet, so I'll read that real quick, and I'll let you borrow it.
It is a quick read, and that Joss Whedon is a very pithy writer.
Yeah, it's real easy to read,
and it's a lot of fun in that sort of way.
Yeah,
but it doesn't not have that emotional depth. You know, there's certain points, not to spoil anything, but when they discover Colossus again,
man,
in the depths of that, and you're like,
every time
yes!
I'm like, oh my god.
And they thought he was dead, and Kitty Pryde finds him, and she's like, "But you wait."
And he just runs through her. And
yes.
she just stands there staring at the wall.
Yeah, and
beautiful.
He's not quite all there. And
and then they have to figure out, like, is this a clone? Is this a robot?
Yes.
Like, what is this? Before we get too attached to our old friend.
Right. Yeah, we can't just assume that he's back from the dead all of a sudden. But yeah, it was a really interesting. It was really good. It was a lot of fun. It moves at a really brisk pace.
It's got that great Joss Whedon humor.
Yes, it really does. I mean, all the portions of, like, they're having these heavy conversations about what they should or shouldn't do. And they're in the danger room, and it's just like everything's oversized because they can't quite figure out.
They're sitting on the Hawaiian Islands.
The Hawaiian Islands, or they're sitting on giant pieces of doll furniture. Because
there's a great moment. Probably my favorite line in any comic is when the Fantastic Four, they're helping out the Fantastic Four,
right? And
the Thing says to Wolverine, "Didn't they just make a cure for your kind?" And he goes, "You got a problem with mutants?" And he goes, "I was talking about Canadians."
I love that line. That was a brilliant line. I also loved the fact that I love the fighting between Cyclops and Wolverine.
Brilliant.
And it was just like we all need to get along, and then within 5 seconds they're out on the lawn, like just challenging each other to a fight. It was great.
Teachers.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a really fun read. It's definitely, I would say, if you're gonna pick up both pick up all the volumes of it at once, because A, you'll read your way through it really fast, and B, if you're picking up just to get this one story arc, then you'll feel a little unsatisfied, because I got done and it didn't quite have that end. Like, you can feel like, okay, this is the end of chapter 1.
Well, and that's what he does. You know, that's what Whedon does in everything.
Yeah. So you got the feeling like this is the end of chapter 1, but not the end of a real story arc.
Right.
I mean, if that's the worst thing I could say about something.
Yeah, then I want more of it.
Then you can't be a bad thing.
It's the first trade paperback I ever read.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Wow. But yeah, so I really, really enjoyed it.
Great. I've got a book for you. It's the second...
It's David Copperfield.
You can read that by next week, right?
Why not?
It's the second book that you will read by Brian Lee O'Malley. It is aptly titled Seconds.
Okay.
And it is...
Brian Lee O'Malley is the writer of...
Scott Pilgrim.
Thank you.
And he, it's probably his second highest critically acclaimed book.
Okay.
I actually think it's a little better than Scott Pilgrim.
All right.
It's more of a... So Scott Pilgrim's about a bunch of people who are like 22 and kind of immature.
Yeah.
And it's easy for our generation.
Please tell me this is about people who are kind of 32 and kind of immature.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah. That's basically what it is. It's about this woman. It's there's so much to talk about with it, but it's the rough plot of it is it's about this woman who has just purchased a restaurant. She also works as a manager at another restaurant. She's trying to get her life together. She's got a lot of people she wishes she was with, and it didn't work out, and she's got this long list of just like regrets.
Right.
One day she wakes up in her bedroom in the middle of the night, and there's some sort of weird creature that's human-ish sitting on her dresser.
Okay.
And she wakes up and she's like, "What the fuck are you?" And it doesn't speak, and she walks over and
who among us hasn't been in that situation?
So the creature points to the dresser that it's sitting on. She opens the dresser. In the dresser is like a book, I think, and it says, "Write your regrets, eat a mushroom, and go to bed." And there's like there's like a mushroom there. So she writes, Oh,
I've done this before.
Right, yeah. So she writes, something easy. Like, I think she got into a fight with someone, and it ended up like, it was in the restaurant, and like a bunch of hot food fell on someone's hand.
Sure.
And had to be rushed to the hospital. So she wrote down, "I wish I hadn't gotten in a fight with that person.
Wish I hadn't killed that hobo."
She ate the mushroom.
Okay.
She wakes up the next day. It didn't happen.
Whoa!
I know. So that's what this book is about.
Ooh.
It's about coming to terms with your mistakes and learning from them. And it is written by Brian Lee O'Malley. There are 2 different references to Scott Pilgrim that I hope you catch.
Okay.
And,
I probably won't, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's a great book.
That sounds really exciting.
It's about as long as Scott Pilgrim, but it's just as easy to breeze through.
Okay.
So I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty, again, just like Joss Whedon. He's
Yeah.
kind of I almost just called him Joss, like I know him. Just like Joss, you know.
Can I point out a stupid nerd thing that like anyone who hears this
That's what this entire fucking thing is about.
Anyone who hears this will hold this over my head for the next like 20 years.
Sure.
I learned maybe a week ago that Joss Whedon and Will Wheaton are not related.
What? You thought they had the same last name?
Yep. I thought it was Will Wheaton. Because I was like, oh, Joss Whedon. And someone was like, Will Wheaton. And I was like, oh, it must be... I know his brothers always work on stuff. Like, they're all involved with Dr. Horrible. There's, like, Jed Whedon, and there's, like, another one. And I was like,
no, I think it's just Jed.
I think he has other siblings.
Well, no, but I'm saying I think it's just Joss and Jed are the only two names I've ever heard.
Well, another one is a writer, I think, and who like helped with.
That's Jed.
Okay, then there was one who was also in Dr. Horrible.
That's Joss.
Joss Whedon was not in it.
That's Jed.
Anyway, yeah, I just found out that Will Wheaton is not related to Joss Whedon.
Oh, buddy. Buddy.
You're gonna take me out for ice cream?
Oh, yeah. I feel like I gotta tell you there's no Easter Bunny or something, too. So that's gonna be our show. We gotta go. What was I gonna say right before we went?
What if I just left before you got to that? What if I just left my own apartment?
Before I got to what? What are you talking about?
The next segment of this show.
I don't know what you're talking about. There was something I was going to say, though.
The segment that is aptly called on all of our social media areas, Wrapping Up.
I don't know what you're talking. There was something else I was going to say. What was it?
You don't remember?
Hey, Andrew.
What?
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 Where can they find us?
They can find us on twitter.com. Our handle there is Media Lunch Break. They can also find us on SoundCloud, which...
By the way, it's at Media Lunch Break. That's how Twitter works.
It is. So we've got that. You can find us on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/The Media Lunch Break. You can search for us on iTunes, Google Play Music,
YouTube.
Subscribe
to us on those three.
I think that's 5.
What do we do? We did Twitter,
SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play Music, YouTube.
That's
so you can
5.
search for us on all 3 of those. You can go to our website at themedialunchbreak.com. You can also send us an email. Our email address is themedialunchbreak@gmail.com.
Uh-huh.
We've also got a lovely Facebook that Chris set up.
Yay!
That you can check out.
It's
that
the
we
one
both
and only
post
thing
up
I've
to
done
it.
for this podcast.
I did put up a very small moment of an outtake of Chris just like having a stroke or something.
Yeah.
That was pretty great.
Yeah. I'm surprised I haven't had one yet, but we still got 30 seconds left.
That's true. So that's on Facebook. Feel free to check that out. We've also got our Patreon page.
Yeah. Throw in a few bucks.
Yeah, I think that's the last one. So it's patreon.com/themedialunchbreak. Give us a couple bucks. It's like go fundyourself.com.
Fund yourself.
But instead of one big fee, you pay us a little
Just
bit
a couple
every time we do a thing.
$1 or something. Hey man, you got $1?
You just put $1 in the underpants.
Yeah.
And we release a video.
Oh, you know what somebody got me?
What did somebody get you?
The same person who got me Earth 1 Superman.
If it has anything to do with this segue, I don't know that I want to know, and I don't know it's appropriate for this.
Well, A, it's not appropriate for this, and B, I'm gonna say it anyway.
Great.
They got me Superman Underoos.
Oh, well, that's great.
Yay! Anyway,
I'm very happy for you.
Yeah.
Do they fit?
I haven't tried them on yet. I had to.
What are you doing with your life?
Them first. You gotta wash it first.
You're clearly not a super fan.
Yeah, because. Wait, why?
Because you gotta wash them first.
You wash them first, so you wash all the stuff off of them. The stuff from the factory in China.
China.
Is that the end? I came dangerously close to having a meltdown just now. I felt it, like as we were talking about the Underoos, I felt it kind of like take a turn, and I was like, oh, here it comes. If we wait this out long enough, it's gonna happen. I'm trying to end this. Let's get this thing. Okay, it's happening right now. We gotta go.
Bye.
All right, bye everybody.
Bye.
Fuck me.
I think it's because I think I've had it for a long time. Doesn't go bad, right?
No, I think it gets better with age.
Just like people.
Yeah. Except for old people.
Well, yeah.